Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most powerful things you can have in your AWS toolkit, getting your code to monitor itself. We're diving into the Amazon CloudWatch SDK to see how we can turn monitoring from this manual chore into an automated, code-driven superpower. Let's get right into it. So picture this. You've pushed your code, the application is live, it's out there running in the cloud. Awesome. But what's really happening inside? Is it running hot? Is it healthy? For a lot of us, our own running app can feel like a total black box. And just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, that's not really a strategy, is it? Right, we're going to crack that black box wide open. Think of this as our developer's journey. We're starting from zero visibility, and step by step, we're going to use code, just code, to build a complete automated insight engine. This means we're trading guesswork for hard data, so you can actually make smart decisions.
Now, what's so cool about this whole approach is that we are ditching the AWS console for this. Forget all that manual pointing and clicking. The real power, the real scalability, comes from defining your entire monitoring strategy right there in your code using the AWS SDKs. This is what we call monitoring as code, and it means your setup can be version controlled, peer-reviewed, and deployed just like any other part of your app.
Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, it all starts with one really basic question. What can we even look at? Before we can build cool dashboards or set up alerts, we have to figure out what data CloudWatch is already collecting for us. And to do that, you just need to know two key terms. A metric is simply something you can measure. Think CPU utilization. And a namespace is just a bucket that holds a bunch of related metrics. So like the AWS/EC2 namespace has all the metrics for your instances. A really good way to think about it is like a car. The namespace is the engine system, and the metrics are all the individual sensors for oil pressure, temperature, and so on.
And that brings us to our very first piece of code, the list metrics API call. This is our entry point. It's basically us asking CloudWatch, hey, for that AWS/EC2 namespace, what sensors do you have for me? This one command is the key that unlocks all the data that's available for your resources.
Okay, so we found the data streams. Great. Now what? I mean, staring at raw numbers isn't super useful, right? So the next logical step is to visualize this stuff. We need to build ourselves a control panel, a dashboard. And yeah, you guessed it, we're going to do it with code. And the process is actually way simpler than you might think. It really just comes down to these three steps. First, you just define what you want to see, your graphs, your numbers, as little widgets in a simple JSON file. Then you make one single API call. Put dashboard, and boom, just like that, your brand new dashboard shows up right in the CloudWatch console.
Now here's where the magic really happens. Just think about it. You define your perfect dashboard once in a file you can check into Git. Now you can deploy that exact same consistent dashboard across your dev, your staging, and your production environments with literally zero manual work. That's a huge game changer for keeping everyone on the same page.
And here's a little pro tip for you. Let's say you need a graph for a weekly report, or you want to post a status update to Slack. The getMetricWidget API call lets you generate a PNG image of any metric widget whenever you want. This is such a cool way to pull live data into your team's day-to-day workflow without making them log into the AWS console. All right, we can see our data now. Let's take the next big step in automation. Dashboards are awesome, but they still need a human to be looking at them. The real goal is for the system to tell us when something's going wrong. It's time to set up some automated watchtowers, or as CloudWatch calls them, alarms. The workhorse for this is the put_metric_alarm API call. This is how you programmatically define the rules for what's healthy and what's not in your application. You're basically telling CloudWatch, hey, keep an eye on this metric for me, and if it ever crosses this line I'm drawing in the sand, you need to do something about it. So, what is that line? It's just the threshold. For instance, in the code this explainer is based on, an alarm is set to go off if a metric goes above or equals 100. It's that simple. That's the powerful rule that your automated watchtower is going to enforce for you 24/7.
But here's where it gets really cool. When an alarm goes off, it can do so much more than just send you a panicked email at 3 a.m. The real power is in the automated actions it can trigger. Sure, it can send an email via SNS, but it can also invoke a Lambda function to try and fix the problem. Or it can even kick off an auto-scaling action to add more servers. Monitoring is no longer passive. It's an active part of your system.
So far, everything we've done is based on rules we defined. But what about the problems you didn't see coming? The unknown unknowns. This is where we go beyond simple thresholds and enter the world of intelligent monitoring with CloudWatch anomaly detection.
So instead of you setting a static number like 100, anomaly detection uses machine learning to learn your application's natural heartbeat. It figures out what normal looks like on a Tuesday afternoon versus a Saturday night. Then it only alerts you when a metric does something weird and deviates from that expected pattern, even if it hasn't crossed some arbitrary limit you set months ago.
And you might be thinking, wow, machine learning, that sounds complicated. But get this, turning on this super sophisticated analysis is as simple as one API call, put anomaly detector. You just point it at a metric you care about, and CloudWatch takes it from there. It's a massive leap in monitoring intelligence for almost no effort. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the journey we've just laid out. We started with an application that was a complete mystery, a total black box. And now, with just a handful of API calls, we've built a comprehensive, automated, and even intelligent monitoring system.
Just to recap, we went from discovering what's even possible with list metrics to making it visual with Put Dashboard. Then we made our system proactive, teaching it to watch itself with Put Metric Alarm, and finally, we made it smart with Put Anomaly Detector. Every step builds on the last, giving us a complete story of our application's health.
The big takeaway here is really a shift in how we think. Monitoring isn't this separate thing you do after you deploy anymore. By using the CloudWatch SDK, it becomes an automated, scalable, and version-controlled part of your application itself, living right there alongside all your other code. And that really brings us to the end. With all the time you're going to save and the confidence you'll gain from having a system that has your back, the real question is, what amazing new features will you have the freedom to build next? Thanks for joining me.